Hello and welcome back to Fitness Hacks brought to you by Life Fitness. The last two videos of Fitness Hacks, I brought to you the shoulder care and the squat series. I'm sure you enjoyed it and some of you are finding it useful as well. So it's time to dive into the next exercise that is very, very important and very integral to part of my routine, which a lot of people can call it lunges. So basically I'll split it into split squats and walking lunges. They are all similar movement patterns, but when you do the same exercise in a walking motion, it's called walking lunges. But when you're doing it in a static position, it's basically called split squats. A lot of trainers, a lot of people might call it the static lunges, but the right way to call it is split squats. So as usual, in an exercise, I demonstrate the exercise and then say what, why, and how. So what is the split squats and what is the lunges? It is nothing but squatting in a split stance position. So for example, in the last exercise, if you saw, there are different ways you can load the squats. You just stand legs parallel to each other and just go at it. But with this, you get into a split position and then squat. Most importantly, this exercise, like the squat exercise, is a very hip driven movement. So the movement during the exercise needs to come from the hip. You just basically go down and up, and that's basically it. And what are the different ways in which you do the split squats and lunges? Split squats you can do in a racked position, like I've demonstrated. You can hold the two dumbbells on two hands and then do it in a static position, which is a split squats. You can do with the dumbbell facing down towards the floor, right besides your leg, and do it. That is another way to do it. So these are basically the different ways you can load up, and some people might even rack it up with a barbell, right? Like I showed you in the squats position, you can rack it up front, but mostly people prefer to, because if you put it in the front, you might arch back a little. So they would like to put it right behind them, like a back squat position, and try and do it. So those are different ways in which you can do the split squat, and the walking lunges. So you can basically hold the dumbbell besides your legs and keep walking like I'm demonstrating here. Here I'm doing the overhead walking lunges, which is the exercise that I prefer. It works the entire body. So that's how I do these lunges, and these are the different forms of split squats that you can do. But my favorite amongst all of them is the walking lunges. So now I've explained what are the different ways in which you can do the lunges and the split squats. So now it is important to dive deep into how do you do them. How do you do them? I'm not, like I've always said, if you've got any doubts and if you want more clarity, please approach a qualified trainer or a physician to understand more about the exercise and whether it suits you, whether it works for you and all that. How do you do it? So basically there are two, three very, very critical points that you need to be able to, I've also shown you in that video itself where I've demonstrated two things that you can never do, right? One is the knee, the front leg, whichever leg is in front. That the knee cannot go past the toe, which is something all trainers and observers will tell you, but that is a lesser way of, that's not the exact way of understanding it. And the second one is the back arching. When you try, a lot of people, due to weaknesses in their legs or in the hips, will tend to arch back. The back will go into a sort of a concave position. If this is the back, it cannot go into this position. It needs to remain straight and go down and come up. Go down and come up. It's a hip driven exercise. So the idea is for your hip to go and touch the floor and come up. When I say touch the floor, the hip will not touch the floor. The idea should be for the hip to try and touch the floor. That is the movement pattern. And the split between the legs is extremely crucial. The split must give your body balance. A lot of times when people try and split into a position, they end up moving and they stay imbalanced, which is the wrong position. So remember, the front leg, the front heel and the toe will be firmly placed on the ground, while the back leg will be straight. The knee of the back leg will be straight. It will be like it will be in a really good straight plane, and it will be mostly on the toes for you to be able to allow the movement pattern. The back is straight, the movement is initiated by the hip. The front knee will automatically not cross. And how do you come up? When you go down, it is completely hip driven. When you come up, you push up from the front leg. You push up from the front leg. Remember again, you push up from the front leg and come up. In a walk, the walking lunges is usually not suggested if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, what is suggested is simple, no weight, no dumbbell, no overhead bar plate, nothing, just simple body weight exercise before you master the movement pattern. And once you master the movement pattern, you can go for light weights and then increase subsequently. For best way of assessing this particular exercise, if you've got nobody to observe you, just to make sure that your back is straight and your knees are going very well and the movement pattern is fine. If you've got a mirror, stay side on. The side plane is the best way to observe this exercise. Even observers and trainers will observe it from the side position. And do remember that these exercises, this exercise is a sagittal plane exercise, so it is very, very important that you are observed from the side position. And yeah, these are the ways to do this exercise. And in case you have any doubt, please get in touch with a physician or a trainer. The what and the how section is over for the lunges and the split squat exercises. So now it's important that we move on to why. Why do I do this exercise? So when I first initially started doing strength training and all that, squats and lunges were the primary focus areas that the trainer told me to focus on. Why? Because I'm involved in a running sport. If you're involved in a running sport, it is absolutely crucial that you master the lunge pattern. It is not, as I've always said, it's not how much you lift, it's how well you lift. It's how good your pattern of the exercise is. So for the lunges, master the pattern. So just try this exercise, body weight, free weight at home. I try this with my mother and dad as well. I teach them. Whether they follow it or not is a different issue. So when you try and do it, you'll always see people, they will lean to one side or they will arch back or they will fall in front. How far you can go down. Once you master this, you can move on to using weights with these exercises. So why do I do it? Every part of the sport that I play, cricket, is involving lunges. If you look at batting, a front foot stride is a lunge. How low you can get will directly impact how much force you can produce on the drives. Look at Virat Kohli, for instance. When he drives the ball, his back knee is almost touching the floor. His front leg is so low that he's able to produce beautiful force into a cover drive. And if you look at fielding, the long barrier position, like they call, when you put your knee down and block the ball as a second line of defense, that involves lunging. You're moving, you're running, you're picking up the ball, everything involves lunge to a large extent. With bowling as well, when you have a good lunge pattern and when you have a good split squat pattern, you will go down and up and produce force much easily. Your body will not collapse at the bowling crease. So I can't start and begin to talk about the benefits of split squats and lunging. It's a wonderful exercise. It will really give you good balance. And what are the muscle group it works? That's very, very important to know here. It basically works a lot of muscle groups. The quads are working, the glutes, which is basically your bum muscle, it's working. Your hamstring is working. Your adductors are working as well. So it is a wonderful exercise. And when you use the dumbbell and rack position, it works basically the shoulders as well, shoulder muscles, the arm muscles. And when you are doing the walking lunges with overhead weight, it basically works the core as well. So it's a wonderful exercise. It doesn't matter how much you lift, how well you lift, and how good your pattern is will determine the benefits that you get out of this particular exercise. So that's that. Try it out. In case you need expert advice, approach a physician or a trainer. Thank you so much for joining me on Fitness Hacks.